All right, welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're going to completely challenge what we think we know about early global industry. You know, when we think of great ancient empires, our minds almost automatically drift to Rome, Egypt, or Mesopotamia, right? But hidden away in the dense tropical landscapes of Southeast Asia, this massive, highly advanced industrial empire was secretly thriving. Today, we're diving deep into the absolutely astounding archaeological revelations of the ancient Kedah kingdom. I'm talking about a civilization that was, in many ways, the Silicon Valley of antiquity.
So let me ask you a question, and I want you to temporarily just toss out everything you thought you knew about early global industry centers. Where was the ancient world's true iron capital? If you guess somewhere in the Mediterranean or maybe ancient China, you are going to be incredibly surprised. The true heart of ancient global heavy industry was sitting right on the Malay Peninsula, quietly fueling empires across the entire globe.
To really wrap our heads around the sheer magnitude of this civilization, just look at this jaw-dropping number, 1,000. This represents a 1,000 square kilometer archaeological site that researchers have been carefully digging up. We're not talking about some tiny fishing village or a minor coastal trading post here. A 1,000 square kilometer footprint means this was a sprawling, interconnected mega-complex of industry, religion, and administration. It's just a massive, mind-boggling scale for an unearthed empire.
To put that into perspective, the ancient Kedah kingdom stretched all the way from Bukit Choras in the north right down to the Sungai Batu River in the south. It was boxed in by the Straits of Malacca on the west and Geniang Sik in the east. They were perfectly positioned right smack in the middle of the world's major trade routes, connecting the Bay of Bengal, the Straits of Malacca, and the South China Sea. That location alone made it an absolute titan of maritime commerce.
Section 1. A massive hidden kingdom.
Now, an empire of this size doesn't just pop up overnight. The archaeological record shows that the ancient Kedah kingdom actually emerged as early as the 6th century BC. Think about that for a second. That is centuries before the Roman Empire even reached its peak. By the 1st century AD, they established these major global trade routes, and they sustained this incredible maritime and industrial dominance all the way until the 17th century AD. So this definitely wasn't a flash in the pan. This was a sustained, highly organized powerhouse lasting well over 2 millennia.
Section 2. The iron economic engine. Okay, so how exactly do you maintain that kind of global power for over 2,000 years? Let's shift gears to the real secret behind their immense wealth, their ancient heavy industry. It was their ultimate economic engine. I want you to just imagine rolling up to this bustling, smoke-filled port at the Sungai Batu Archaeological Complex. You'd see massive iron smelting workshops right next to the river jetties and the administrative buildings. Mass industrial production was just seamlessly linked to river transport. They were basically mining, smelting, and shipping out insane quantities of iron directly from these highly organized port complexes.
And here is a fascinating little micro detail for you that shows just how valuable this iron was. The ancient Chinese monk I Ching actually recorded that ancient Kedah iron was exported in the form of these little two-finger-sized iron ingots. And get this, just one of these tiny ingots could be traded for 5 to 10 coconuts in the Nicobar Islands. It really goes to show how their high-grade iron functioned almost like a highly sought-after international currency.
Of course, this entire economy relied on a localized, super-efficient supply chain. The ancient Kedah people were absolute masters of their local geology and biology. Step 1. They mined local hematite and magnetite iron ore, which was naturally abundant thanks to some ancient magma intrusions near Mount Jirai. Step 2. They needed intense heat, right? So they ingeniously used local corky stilt mangrove wood from the nearby swamps to fuel their massive furnaces. Step 3. They used the deep natural flow of the Sungai Merbak River to export their goods directly via their sophisticated jetties. It was a perfectly optimized, entirely self-contained industrial ecosystem.
Section 3. Records of global trade.
And the best part is, we don't just have to rely on digging up dirt to prove their dominance. We actually have the global receipts. If you were a major player in the ancient world, you knew exactly who ancient Kedah was. The Arabic world knew them as Kala or Kakula. The mighty Indian empires recorded them as Kedaram or Kedaram. Chinese records call them Checha or Kacha, and those names literally translate to terms meaning iron or port city. This proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that they were a global household name.
They weren't just producing iron, though. They were producing the absolute best iron out there. Listen to this quote from the 9th century by the renowned Arabic scholars Al-Kindi and Al-Biruni. Kedah is a center of the world's best iron exporters, along with Yemen and Hindi. I mean, that is a powerful endorsement. International scholars literally viewed ancient Kedah's iron as being on par with the highest grade metals on the entire planet.
Because of all that massive iron export wealth, the kingdom became incredibly cosmopolitan. Yes, they were shipping out their high-grade iron, tin, rattan, camphor, and bamboo. But in return, look at what was coming in. Archaeologists have dug up high-end Chinese ceramics, vibrant Indo-Pacific glass beads from India, and exquisite glassware imported all the way from the Middle East. It was a truly rich, global trading hub, where the East essentially met the West, right there on the Malay Peninsula.
Section 4. Unique local architecture.
So you might be wondering, how does a society this wealthy and tech-forward actually build their monuments? Did they just copy the visitors coming through their ports? Actually, no. When we look at ancient Kedah's Hindu and Buddhist temples, they used local clay bricks mixed with paddy husk, and they built wooden roof structures supported by stone pillar bases. Contrast that directly with Indian temples like Konark or Cambodian monuments like Angkor Wat, which used heavy, solid stone blocks stacked upwards. Ancient Kedah didn't blindly copy foreign stone masonry at all. They used their own indigenous wisdom.
You can actually see this tangible evidence left behind. Those unique pillar bases have holes specifically designed to hold massive wooden columns, which is something you just don't see in pure Indian stone temples. And get this, those wave and zigzag clay roof tiles? Scientific analysis shows they were baked in furnaces at a staggering 1,400 degrees Celsius. 1,400! That requires incredibly advanced pyrotechnology, proving that the exact same mastery of fire that used for smelting iron was brilliantly applied to their architecture.
And when you look at the actual floor plans of the Vimana Mandapa structures, you can clearly see the local people beautifully blending foreign religious ideas like Hinduism and Buddhism, but executing them using their own local construction techniques and spatial designs. They were true innovators, not just imitators.
Section 5. The Kingdom's Lasting Legacy. Let's zoom back out for a second. Why does this all matter to us today? The crucial point to take away is the absolute uniqueness of this site. The Sungai Batu Archaeological Complex is the only site globally discovered so far that features large-scale iron smelting, river jetties, port management, and major ritual monuments all coexisting in one organized area. They perfectly mastered their local geology to fuel an export economy. Most importantly, it completely redefined Southeast Asia as a major, independent industrial innovator that drove the ancient world's economy, not just a passive pit stop for passing ships. I want to leave you with this final thought. We just looked at a 1,000 square kilometer industrial empire, an absolute global hub of technology and trade that was essentially hidden in plain sight beneath the jungle canopy for centuries. It really makes you wonder, right? What other ancient technological powerhouses, what other lost Silicon Valleys of antiquity are still out there, just waiting beneath the dirt to be unearthed? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll catch you in the next one.